Brilliant. Okay, so welcome back to another episode. Today we've got Rob Artingstall from, current England Rugby League physiotherapist, and has an amazing clinic near Manchester Airport called Projuvenate. Welcome.
Thank you. Okay.
A little bit. You've been really busy recently, so I appreciate you coming in. Just got back from the Ashes, the Rugby League Ashes. Yeah. How was that?
Yeah, good. Really good.
Yeah.
I always enjoy being in camp.
Yes.
You're just surrounded by 40 odd people who are essentially just overgrown toddlers. And you do have a really, really good time.
Yeah.
In camp. It's good to be around people. Although I never tell my wife this. Whenever I speak to my wife on FaceTime, it's like, oh, it's really hard.
Really working all day, every day. Yeah.
She knows really. I'm actually having the time of my life.
Yeah.
But it is tough. The long days, I like to try and get in the gym in the morning. So you're up at 6, try and get a bit done in the gym, have a bit of breakfast. First treatments are around about 8 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And then we can be right the way through and having staff meetings, prepping for the next day.
Yeah.
8 o'clock at night sometimes. And then sometimes if there's, we'll go out for a team meal, come back, and then you're still talking shop the whole time. Yeah. So they can be pretty long days, really, and it is 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Get odd little chances to come home and see the family and things like that, but there's rarely a clear day, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's pretty full on for 4 weeks.
So what do the treatments look like, from a morning perspective,
In the morning, it tends to be a bit more prep for the training session that's upcoming. So we'll always be carrying 3-4 people who have probably got niggles that need addressing, and we're trying to improve them daily and make sure that they get through training.
Yeah.
And then there'll be a few people who usually get bits of maintenance who just want to feel better for training.
Sure.
And then there's always conversations around what modifications need to be made for certain players to make sure they don't get too overloaded with the issues that they've got. So we had a knee this year that needed quite close monitoring. So constant dialogue with the strength and conditioners, the coaches, talking about how much they can do, how many Ks, how many accels, decels, high speed running, all the different metrics that get thrown out these days by the GPS. So scrutinizing and trying to make the right decisions, really, so to keep him going for another 4 weeks. Because what you've got to appreciate as well is that they've just come off the back of a really, really long season in the Super League, where they're pretty beat up and they're tired, and you can't flog them.
No,
because they've just been flogged for the last
9 months.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there's very much a philosophy of freshness over fitness when it comes to an end of season international camp.
I mean, there's the fitness for Rugby League is quite intriguing, isn't it? Because there's the strength that has to be there, but also cardiovascular fitness to keep going for that all the time, and the intensity of the game.
Yeah, 100%. I think I like to look at it. If you've got Rugby Union, Rugby League and football, your footballers don't have the contact, but they run and run and run and run. They're absolute thoroughbreds in that respect.
Yeah.
And the Rugby Union lads, you'll get some real big boppers. They are unbelievably strong human beings, and they're a bit bigger. But they don't tend to have to run as much. And then Rugby League, I think, just sits in the middle. They do have to do it all.
Yeah.
And I can say this because I've worked in all three. So I've got a pretty good experience as to what it's like. And I do genuinely, I think Rugby League, the collisions, because from a collision point of view, Rugby League players have to retreat the 10 metres, Whereas Rugby Union, you're just on the back foot of the ruck. So the collisions are a lot more intense in Rugby League because they've got a 10-metre run.
Yes. Yeah.
They end up being pretty heavy collisions.
Yeah.
Some of the data that we've picked up off the gum shields.
Yeah.
All these gum shields with accelerometers and gyrometers in them these days.
Yeah.
The collisions are like 70 G worth of force, and it's repeated.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was it James Roby who used to play for St Helens? I remember he'd come off the back of a game and he played 80 minutes in the middle and made 60 odd tackles. You know, Rugby Union, it can be maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 tackles. Whereas Rugby League, if you're in the middle, it's really tough. You get caught in the tumble gyre.
It's a big difference, that, isn't it? It's a big difference. Huge. Interesting chat with Tommy Taylor that we had, where he's talking about the changes in training from perhaps when we won the World Cup with Martin Johnson and those guys, where it just really the development to being professional had been, you know, but there were still heavy collisions in training and really intense, to now where obviously there's no real collisions during the week, and they managed that from a concussion point of view. And is that changed in Rugby League as well?
Yeah,
sounds like a daft question, actually.
No, it's not. It's absolutely not. I think the player welfare's getting better.
Yeah,
which is essential, because you can't just keep taking this. It's impossible to sustain that level of training just repeatedly all year round. So, particularly in the NRL in Australia, they put limitations on how much you can do contact-wise throughout the week. And there's stuff in the Super League as well that looks at what position you play and how many collisions you kind of expected to withstand throughout the course of a season, and that will dictate how many games you can play. And they are looking at it in a lot more detail now, and acknowledging the fact that it's brutal. It's really, really tough, which is great, because they need.
It's great to watch.
Yeah, it is great, and that's part of it. I think if you keep just trying to flog the players all the time, the only thing that suffers is the end product, because you're not getting all your best players fit and feeling half decent enough to play good rugby. If they're training too hard and they're having to play as well all year round, then the end product suffers.
So you mentioned you worked in both football, Rugby League, Rugby Union. How did it all start?
My physio journey was a little bit unorthodox, I suppose. I started off, I loved rugby from being young, played at Manchester Rugby Club, and then decided that I wanted to go and play rugby in New Zealand for a year. So I went over and did that and met some unbelievable people over there, and had a great experience. And then came back. My mum made me come back. I said, I think I'm going to stay in New Zealand for a bit. You will not. You've got a place at university you need to go. So I got dragged back, kicking and screaming, and went to Liverpool Uni and did business studies for 3 years.
Right, okay.
So finished that, and as I was coming to the end of that, we had a family holiday in France, and we're all sat around as a family with my granddad and mum and my sister. And I think it was my sister said, if you could have been anything in the world other than what you are now, what would it be? So my dad said a pilot, and I can't remember what my granddad said. And I just said, well, I think I would have liked to be a physio. So my sister said, well, you've literally just finished a degree. Do it. There's no point thinking 10 years down the line what could have been. So I thought,
she sounds like a wise lady.
Well, again, I'd never tell her. Probably is. And initially, my thought was, I can't do another 3 years at uni.
Yeah.
Kill myself.
Yeah.
Out of drinking that. So I thought about it,
Yeah.
and the following morning, bizarrely, the way it all panned out timings wise, my housemate at the time, who was on my business studies course, phoned me up and said, "Have you seen that they put the results out early?" So I was like, "No, didn't realise." She said, "Oh," I said, "How did you do?" Blah, blah, blah. I said, "Go and check yours." So I ended up saying to my sister, the results were out, and she said, "Right, we'll do you a deal. If you get a 2-1, then you have to apply to physio." Oh, right. This is a pretty safe bet. So I'm not getting a 2.
Yeah.
So we ended up down in this reception in a
Yeah.
French hotel on this clapped out old computer trying to find out what my results were.
Yeah.
Hit enter, pops up, 2-1. Oh, wow.
Oh dear.
Right, you've got to do it now. You've got to do
Yeah.
it. So I said, right, okay. And I just thought, I'll apply and I'll just leave it in the lap of the gods.
Yeah.
And then as time went on, I started to think about it more and think, actually, do you know what? I think it probably could be a good move for me.
Yeah.
So I just started shadowing people and going and spending time with people that I knew who were in and around the healthcare industry. And it just kind of snowballed. Went for an interview at Salford Uni, really liked it, enjoyed all the facilities that they've got. The staff were really nice, the faculty were brilliant. So ended up getting offered a place, and that was it, really. And I just thought, I'm going to try and do as many random things along the way to try and make it as richer of an experience as I could.
Yeah.
So I ended up in my second year, because you have to do your clinical placements.
Yeah.
In my second year, I went to Sweden on the Erasmus exchange scheme.
Wow.
And went and worked in a hospital for 6 months over in Sweden.
Okay.
Which was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, great experience, great to travel around Scandinavia a bit and see the world. And it was really, really good. I couldn't believe sat in halls of residence, going over thinking, I don't know if people speak English. I don't speak Swedish. How is this going to work?
Yeah.
And then I went into halls of residence and they're all just sat there watching Friends in English.
Yeah.
Their English is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
So did that. And then towards the end of my third year, from a contact I'd made in New Zealand, who was playing at Sale Sharks, they put a good word in for me and said,
"Cool.
Can I do my elective, my last placement at Sale Sharks for 6 weeks?"
Wow.
So I ended up doing that and then just grafting as hard as I could for 6 weeks and trying to make a good impression, put my best foot forward.
Yeah.
And then offered my services at the end of it just to work voluntarily, help them out with pre-season, do whatever I could, really.
Yeah.
And then off the back of that, the head physio phoned me up and said, we've got some finances come available for an academy physio. Would you want to interview for it? And then that was it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it shows how if you put the effort in and you whether it's paid or not, and you're able to pursue something that, people go, we like you to come and we think you're good, you'd be useful,
I think that's it. And at the time, I definitely wasn't a good physio by any stretch of the imagination, but there was that, I suppose, drive, determination, ambition to be a good physio and to just get my head down and work hard. And I think people do, especially in sport.
Yeah.
They do want the pound of flesh.
Yeah.
Even as a head physio anywhere, or an academy physio, they want the pound of flesh. You have to work really, really long hours. And you don't get paid that fantastically for it. Especially the thing about Rugby League at the moment, the responsibility that is put on some of the head physios and the decisions that they have to make in split seconds, on the pitch, that can be really significant decisions. you're talking about somebody's health,
Yeah.
a player's health, and there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure from coaching staff, other people at the clubs. Everybody wants to win, and you can make a decision that changes the course of that game and affects the result. So there's a lot of pressure, and like I said, the pay's not fantastic. So
No.
it's not really a surprise, I think, that now you're finding fewer and fewer people wanting to be involved in sport because they think they could get paid similar kind of amount in the NHS, clock in, clock out, Monday to Friday. You get your weekends. You don't have to work at evenings. You don't have all that stress and pressure. I get it. But there is something unbelievable about working in sport. I wouldn't have changed it for the world.
Yeah.
The experiences that I've had have been phenomenal. And the people that I've met and the environments I've worked in been so good.
Does it help having a bit of a rugby background in the rugby world as a physio?
Yeah, it does. If you're working in rugby, it certainly does. Understanding the game, understanding the demands of the game, what the players are expected to do. Because if somebody's coming back from an injury, you need to know where they are and where they need to get to. And that involves all the different movements that go on within a game, and the quantity of those movements or collisions or whatever it might be. You need to know all the different positions that they're going to get themselves in when they're wrestling, and you have to try and replicate that. Because ultimately rehab's just graded exposure to what they need to get back to doing. So you have to know that. So it does help. And that was something when I transitioned over to football. Everyone at Blackburn Rovers will tell you that I do not know a lot about football and I can't kick a ball. So I had to learn and lean on the sports scientists quite a lot at Blackburn, which was great development for me. That was probably only 4 years ago that I joined Blackburn. So I've been a physio for a long time, but still learning and developing and trying to challenge myself. Which I think is really important. I think in our industry, if you stood still, you're moving backwards. There's loads of people who are just on it all the time, developing and pushing themselves, and you have to be that way.
There's a new technology as well, isn't there, which kind of brings us around to Projuvenate, which is an amazing clinic wellness kind of. I mean, how would you describe it? Because it's very like I came away thinking that could be like a Bond villain's lair, because it was so like I was going to say space age. I mean, it was so cutting edge, and the way it's set out and everything is just amazing.
I think firstly the way it's been done. Like the couple of friends, Lee and Lindsay Chaplin, who one's the husband and wife, one's interior designer and one's a builder.
Right.
And
that makes sense. And
it worked perfectly, what they put together and the way they've finished it and kitted it all.
It's beautiful. Really
it's a really beautiful space. So we're really pleased with the way it turned out. And then everything that we've put in there, we have tried to be cutting edge and try and provide something that is going to help accelerate recovery and help make people feel better. Just our overarching desire is to improve people's quality of life. And it's such a sliding spectrum. What somebody wants to be able to achieve is completely different to what that person wants to be able to achieve. So it is a sliding scale, but ultimately that's what they want. And if they feel like that's going to improve their quality of life, and that's what we want to try and deliver. So for some people, it might be they want to try and trim down, lose a bit of body fat, build a bit of muscle. Some people, it might be they've got a knee injury and they want to return to football. Some people, it might be walking tennis. Some it might be just being able to walk to the shops. Everybody's different. But that's what I'm enjoying about the private practice side of things. In football or rugby, when you've been in and around it long enough, you know what they need to get back to do. And it's roughly the same. There are positional differences, but it's roughly the same. But then, obviously, Dan coming in the other day, I've had, in the space of 2 hours, I had a patient in who, lovely lady, plays walking tennis. So I used it as an example, and does bits of Pilates, and that's really good for her. She feels like she needs to do that to live the life that she wants to lead. But then Dan comes in and he's saying he wants to compete again, strong man. And he's saying, I want to be able to deadlift 300 kilos and squat 200 kilos.
It's a big difference.
There's a big difference.
Yeah.
But I think having that background in sport gives you the ability to cater to all spectrums.
See, she's good. When you mentioned Dan, you mean Dan Jones, strongman, who both his knee tendon snapped in competition. And I mean, fair play to the guy. Is his recovery from that and his attitude towards that life is just. We had him on a few weeks ago, as you know, because I was able to introduce you both, and just a really nice chat with a nice guy that has this dream, and it'd be lovely if he could get back competing safely. Again.
Yeah, it would. He was talking a lot about the injury, and I said to him, I think coming from a rugby background, you see most things. So it's not necessarily, it's unusual that both patella tendons snapped at the same time. Really unusual. But it's not necessarily the injury that excites me. It's the destination. It's that goal. And it's something that I do ask patients, what's the dream outcome from this when they come and see me? What's your dream outcome? And it might be very different, but having a dream outcome like that, being able to deadlift 200 kilos, that excites me. Like, how are we going to get him from here to here? What are all the steps that we need to make sure we get in to get him to where he needs to be? And he needs to be able to run. So it's like, at the moment, he's 120 odd kilos. And he said when he was competing, he was 135 kilos. So it's like, right, how do we get this monster guy to be able to run as well as being able to lift?
Which is where rugby experience would come into, because those guys have to do both. Well, not necessarily 300.
No. But a lot of the Rugby Union lads are strong. They're up there.
I remember seeing Twigger Marler came over to Rugby League, and he was at Wigan, wasn't he? And he came, I think he lived near Warrington as well, and I saw him in the local pub after a game with all the Warrington lads. Wigan, they all came out together, and we struggled to get in that day because those guys are huge and there's no fat on them whatsoever. They're just massive. And you see it in real life and you're like, wow, actually this is different. It's different.
I think when you're pitch side at a game, some of the collisions, I remember being at Headingley, I think it was during COVID, and we were playing St Helens, and we had Paulie, who was 135 kilos, and Saints had Ignatius Parsi, who was 130 kilos, and they both hit each other, and the ground shook. It was like the sound of the impact like knocks you sick. And then one of them ended up getting knocked out and cold. And you kind of running towards both of them thinking, this could be pretty ugly. It's frightening, some of the collisions.
But then you have the smaller guys, they're getting hit by those guys as well. That's potentially from
Yeah. It is. It's really tough for them, and you just hope that they're fast enough to get themselves into a position where they don't get clocked as much.
Yeah.
But there are some really tough little guys in
Yeah.
the league as well that punch way above the weight.
Yeah.
But you know, we joke, but you have to have a bit of a screw loose.
Yeah.
You really do. And they put themselves in situations that
the love of the game.
Yeah, the love of the game. Rugby League's the winner.
Yeah.
It's not lost yet.
So with the clinic, what's the aim for that then?
The aim it was still very, very new.
Yes.
So we're looking to grow to start with. We've got the physio side of things, the aesthetics, skin and face side of things, and the wellness side of things as well. So we're looking to grow all areas as best we can. And then ultimately, I'd love to get more physios on board and do a lot of business development stuff like we talked about previously. And try and grow it even more.
Yeah.
There is extra space available in the building that we're in. So there's potential for growth.
Yeah.
But I think we've just got to make sure we do it in the right way. And don't bite off more than we can chew to start with. Make sure we get all the right systems and strategies and processes in place so that when that time comes, we're in a really good position to do it.
Sure. So talk us through the different areas, because he took me for a tour, and it's not just a gym and a treatment area, all sorts.
Yeah. So as you walk in on the left, we've got the skin and face side of things and the aesthetics side of things, which involves a lot of BTL equipment. BTL is a company that I linked up with in the World Cup.
Okay.
And they've got a physio arm to the business and an aesthetics arm to the business. So there's a lot of synergy.
Yeah.
So off the back of dealing with them and the physio side of things with the rugby, we kind of made that connection, and they said, we'd like to get involved with what you're trying to put together. So we've got things like the M-Sculpt Neo, which is muscular stimulation, and it's got radio frequency in it, so it helps to melt fat and build muscle.
Right. Ideal.
Which is what everybody wants. Obviously, it's in conjunction with exercise, healthy diet, that kind of stuff. It's not a silver bullet, unfortunately, but it helps. And we've seen some really, really good results when you're doing your befores and afters. There's definitely an improvement.
Sure.
So we've got things like that. Similar is the Exion. That's radio frequency, helps melt fat cells. And then we've got machines for the face, the M-Face, which helps improve collagen, elasticity of the skin, and basically just makes your skin look a lot nicer. It's, as you can probably tell, it's not my department.
I was going to say, looking well.
And then there's things like the skin pen, micro needling, loads of polynucleotides, Botox, all that kind of stuff that is just really good for making you feel and look a little bit better aesthetically.
You mentioned something about there's one that can stimulate different parts of the brain, or
so that kind of comes under the well-being section, which I am really excited about. Actually, I think I'm excited to see what kind of results we get. Initially, really, really positive.
Yeah.
Anecdotally, myself, I've had 3 sessions on it.
Yeah.
And you do a course of 6, and it's scientifically, it's transcranial magnetic stimulation.
Okay.
So it sends magnetic impulses. It's all based off technology that's been around in psychiatry for years and years and years.
Sure.
But the technology meant that it needed long sessions and lots of them.
Right.
They've refined the technology now, so you can get it down to 6 sessions and you're on there for about 20 minutes.
Okay.
It's FDA approved in America for loads and loads of different things. We're using it mainly just from a mental health point of view, as in mental well-being. Like, if we can help you cope with daily stresses of life and make you feel better and help you make better decisions about what you're doing in your life, then this could be for you.
Right.
So dealing with stressful situations, stressful life, whether that's a mum trying to run a house with 3 kids running riot, speaking through life experience, or whether you're a hotshot exec who has got a really stressful life running a business, or if you're an elite athlete and you want a bit more focus, a bit more concentration, improved decision making. So it effectively sends these magnetic stimulations into certain parts of your brain that are normally a little bit dormant.
Right.
And when they're dormant, it affects your ability to concentrate, focus, your emotional regulation. So by stimulating those areas, it helps wake up that part of the brain and improve focus, sleep, concentration, decision making. And
so that's something that might help with, like, people who've had lots of concussions and things like that.
So this is something that we're kind of exploring.
Yeah.
So myself and BTL are looking at maybe doing something in that field, because we don't know is the ultimate answer, but it would be great to find out, especially now post career. You're getting all these people falling out the back of rugby who are struggling from a mental health point of view. Now there are physiological changes in the brain, and then there are symptoms of those physiological changes.
Yeah.
We don't know whether the exomind could actually make physiological changes, or whether it could just help improve the symptoms of those physiological changes. But either way, it would be positive. It'd be really positive.
Yeah.
It'd be a great finding.
Yeah.
But we have to just kind of
be careful how you say it.
Yeah, be careful how you put that across, because you don't want people thinking, and we don't want to be kind of sat there saying, "Oh, we can cure
dementia
CTE or dementia or anything like that," because that's not the case.
No.
But yeah, I anecdotally myself felt I've constantly got 1,000,001 things going around in my head, and I just felt like it just dialed everything down.
Okay.
It just made everything feel a little bit quieter, so that I could make better decisions.
Yeah.
And didn't feel quite as stressed by it all.
Right. Interesting. Yeah. And then there was a red light sauna or something like that, from memory.
So again, that's part of the well-being. That's red light and salt therapy.
Yeah.
So it's a combined treatment. It's a cabin that has got red light panels, medical grade red light panels, and then it fires salt out into the cabin as well. Really fine pharmaceutical grade salt out into the cabin. So the red light, you've got 2 different types of red light. One stimulates the collagen and elasticity of your skin and improves skin health. So it's really good for things like psoriasis, eczema, etc. And then the deep infrared that penetrates deeper, it helps stimulate the mitochondria in your cells.
Okay.
And if you stimulate the mitochondria, you produce more ATP, and ATP is basically just energy. So this red light creates more energy, or helps to produce more energy in every cell of your body.
Right.
So on a cellular health level, it's so good for recovery, and just improving your overall health in general.
Yeah.
And then the salt is really good for skin as well. really good for skin issues and also respiratory. So there's some really nice evidence on VO2 max. They've done some research that shows that in elite athletes you can improve your VO2 max by 2%.
Okay.
And in Joe Blogs you can improve it by up to 18%.
Okay.
Just through sitting in the red light in salt.
In the salt, yeah.
3 times a week. So
Amazing.
for 20 minutes, yeah. But it's by inhaling the salt, it changes the way the water moves in and around your lungs. So it can help clear out your lungs, basically, and help with your respiratory function.
Yeah.
And because it's antibacterial and antimicrobial as well, if you're coming down with something and you feel a little bit ill, it's really good to get in there and breathe the salt in. Help try and clear you out.
Yeah.
From any germs.
Amazing. And then there was the gym. I saw some equipment in the gym that kind of blew my mind a little bit. With the treadmill that was, you put thing over you and it helps to reduce the pressure on your joints. And
exactly. Yeah, you zip yourself in, you wear a fetching pair of shorts, and then zip yourself in, and it pumps air into the bag underneath you and lifts you up off the ground.
Yeah.
So if you have just had surgery, or you've got arthritis in your knees, ankles, hips, or you're just recovering from any kind of injury, they do get used a lot in professional sport. Post-injury, somebody coming back from ACL surgery or something like that, they can get them up and running a lot quicker. So the quicker you start to move normally, the quicker you're going to recover. So if we can get people moving better and more normally, but at reduced loads, then the theory is that it accelerates the recovery.
Yeah.
And then you're not getting to a stage where somebody maybe comes out of a boot or a brace, and then they've got to try and catch up, if you like. The idea is that while they're still in that boot or brace, they can temporarily come out of it to go on this anti-gravity treadmill and walk or run at 50% of the body weight, 60% of the body weight, and then slowly
build it up
back to full body weight, so that by the time they come out of their boot, they've already done 2 or 3 weeks worth of running, but just at modified loads. Then it can accelerate that recovery process and makes it a lot safer and a lot more objective as well, because you're not guessing. It takes all the guesswork out of it. You know exactly how much load is going through that joint.
Yeah. So you can increment it through a controlled way. And
absolutely. Yeah.
So do you have like a recovery of a client or an athlete that you were involved with that's like your favorite story to tell, like a success story,
Probably, yeah. There are lots. I do get a lot of enjoyment out of getting those lads back to playing, because it means so much to them. And I think one of the big ones was a player called Lee Mossop. He was the captain at Salford, and he'd come to the club having had, I think he'd already had 4 or 5 shoulder surgeries on both sides. By the time he came to us, and the coach was saying, I really, like, from a leadership point of view, I really want him involved. What do you think? I was like, there's some work to do. Like, it's going to be tough, and you're going to have to take it on the chin that he might not play as many games as you want him to, but he'll be in and around the squad and the club and the group, and hopefully make a positive impact. In that point of view, to the coach, was like, yeah, let's do it. So it was an emotional roller coaster. And I'd had many sleepless nights about him as a player. Again, because I I genuinely cared about him.
Yeah.
And you get to know these players really well. So you get to know the family and the kids and the dog, and you're hearing what they're up to day in, day out. And if you spend 4 or 5 years with them over the course of a rugby contract, it's a bit different in football because they have the transfer window. So you get quite a lot of turnover. But in rugby, if you've got a 4-year contract, you know, you're pretty much with that player for 4 years, and you see the family grow up, and you do get quite attached to them. So that was a tough one. There were loads of bumps in the road, and it massively improved me as a physio, not just from a skill set, but just from my approach in general. There was always, at that time, just prior to that, I think I was still very insecure about my abilities as a physio, my abilities as a head physio.
Yeah.
And you never want to admit it. You never want to show weakness, because you feel like that could be the end of you.
Yeah.
And you'll end up losing your job, or people will find you out. You have that huge imposter syndrome, which I think most people struggle with. Definitely still struggle with now.
Yeah.
But it was, I really struggled at the time asking for help.
Right.
And because he was such a complex case, I just thought I need to try and reach out to some shoulder experts and get their opinion on it. And just doing that, even just with a couple of the shoulder experts that I contacted, they were so lovely, so helpful, would do anything for you. And I thought, what a great experience. And it completely changed the way I felt about that.
Yeah.
And it helped me grow massively as a practitioner. So that was really, really good for me in that respect. And it helped me explore so many different things, because you literally, you are thinking to yourself, I need to throw everything out this but the kitchen sink. And you've got that time with the players. Private practice is a bit different, because you might see them once a week, once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Those players, they are there every day. So this player was on with me every morning at 7:30. Like, I just knew.
So you came to, both shoulders were injured, and the goal was to get him playing, essentially.
Yeah. And to try and keep him playing.
Yeah.
And over the course of that time, the club was, I mean, you might have seen recently, Salford have gone into
administration,
which is really, really sad. It's always been a little bit like that at Salford, even through the good times. I'll come on to. There was always that concern, anxiety that there weren't the resources there.
Sure.
Didn't really know how the club was coping. Really, really sad to see it go under, because I have a real soft spot for it as a place, because I grew up so much when I was working there, I think is the best way to put it. Although it was really turbulent, we actually went through a really, really good phase. Like, we had 2 or 3 year phase where we were competing. And really seriously competing. And in 2019, we got to the grand final at Old Trafford against St Helens. And in 2020, we got to Wembley Challenge Cup final against Leeds. Lost both. But to get there, the way the club was and the finances and resources that we had available to us was unbelievable. It was a real underdog story. And he was part of that. This player was part of that. And in 2019, we played the semi-final at Wigan, which was his old club. And we won that semi-final. And I remember him coming over to me and just giving me a big hug and saying we did it. Because he knew, like, we'd worked really, really hard to try and just getting playing consistently, and then to actually play consistently, but then get to a grand final.
Yeah.
It was monumental, and just him appreciating that and the amount of work that was put into it, not just from me, but from himself as well and all the other staff.
Yeah.
It was a lovely moment.
How much of that on a daily basis is you kind of judging their mood and how, because sometimes, if you're injured, you can be positive one day, you can be struggling with it the next. And I suppose your role is to go keep them motivated, keep them positive about it, because that'll affect how they heal, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge element. The whole psychology of recovery and your mindset and goal setting, and it's stuff that we try and implement. I say we collectively, but I definitely try and implement that on a day-to-day basis. Always try and be upbeat, which is not easy. It's the tough seasons for us as well.
Yeah.
From a staff point of view,
you're also managing your life and family around it, because you're probably doing long hours. And
absolutely, it is really challenging. So I do try and be upbeat and happy, and try and put smiles on faces if I can. There are always times you have to have difficult conversations, but on the whole, setting goals, being positive, upbeat, and do help. There are times when you're not going to win. There are days when some people will come in and you're just not going to win today. And it's important to just sit there and listen sometimes. Because I think I always like that phrase, seek to understand before you seek to be understood.
Yeah.
And if somebody's coming in because they're feeling that way, try and understand why. And you might not be able to help them. And I think this is something that being married has helped me with in my life. Has said many a time. Stop trying to solve my problems. Like sometimes you just need somebody to listen and somebody to vent to. And that's fair. I think sometimes we are too quick to try and say, oh, you should do this or you should do that, when sometimes you just need to listen and say, yeah, I understand it's really, really shit right now. And I'll help however I can. And sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah.
And you might get a little bit out of them that day, but then the next day they might come in and they're bouncing and
they've got it all out of the way the day before. And
exactly, and you do have to take that into consideration, and that's why time frames are just so you can't. I mean, you do have to put time frames on injuries in sport, because people want to know. Coaches want to know, when am I going to have him back? When's he going to be fit to train? When's he going to be fit to play? But there has to be so much wiggle room in it. And that's why everything's sliding more towards, or it has done for a long time, criteria-based rehab rather than time-based rehab. If you tick this box, you can move on to that. Tick that box, you can move on to that. But everybody wants to know a time frame, so you have to give them a rough one. But then there is a bit of play throughout. And that coming in a good mood or a bad mood, sometimes that plays into it, because you might not get them to do what you want them to do that day because of the mood that they're in. But you have to adapt.
So what makes a good physio a great one?
That's a great question. At my opinion, because there'll be loads of other opinions out there, and probably from physios that I would regard higher than myself. But I think that's probably one of it. Communication, relationship building, listening. It's so important. You can't get away from that. They've done research on it. The physios that build the better relationships with their patients get better results. And it's not necessarily because they give them better exercises or they give them better hand-on treatment. It's just because they build that relationship. There's that trust. And that's huge.
So linking that in, would there be any advice that you would give an aspiring sporting physio who wants to get involved in professional sport? You know, what is there any advice that you'd say to them for it?
Yeah. I've always thought, again, personally, I've always thought that if you are going to try and get involved in a sport, get involved with something like rugby, because it gives you such a broad knowledge of so many different injuries and different body shapes and sizes and the different requirements that are involved in rugby. I think it just gives you a huge spectrum that you can lean on then. You know, the trauma side of it all, just even pitch side, covering a game, the stuff that you see and the stuff that you have to deal with and the speed that you have to deal with it, it's unbelievably daunting to start with. I remember walking up and down the touchline and running on and off the pitch and just repeating to myself when I first started covering games, when I first graduated. I just remember saying to myself, you can deal with whatever comes your way today. You can deal with anything that comes your way today. And I just used to say it to myself over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Because it's in the back of your mind. It's a brutal sport, and you stood there or running and you're thinking, someone could break the neck and I've got to deal with it. And that has actually happened. That was the first game that I covered as a physio. So I was covering it with another person.
Into the fire.
Yeah, absolute baptism of fire.
Yeah.
It was a academy game, or Sale Jets at the time it was called. It was a Monday night at Haywood Road when they were playing Worcester, and I think it was their winger went into a tackle, forced flexion and fractured his odontoid peg right at the top of his neck, which is serious.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of shaped me, shocked me and shaped me, because it was very real. It was like, that was my first game and someone just broken the neck. And and it wasn't so much me because it was my first game, it was the rest of the medical team. If they hadn't have dealt with that properly, that could have been curtains for that lad.
Yeah.
And that has stuck with me forever. So just making sure you're on it and you know what you're doing and you're constantly refreshing and you've got that attention to detail. I think as always, it has shaped me, that experience.
Yeah. So for you in the future, what's your ambitions with physio and sport?
I'd love to get to, because I still love being involved with sport. So getting the clinic up and running and working there, doing clinic hours, but doing business development at the clinic is exciting. And I'm really, really looking forward to getting stuck into that in the new year. But then having the ability to build it, bring all the physios on board and grow the business so that I can then potentially look at doing some consultancy work in sport and still being involved in some way, shape or form with sporting teams or individual athletes, whether it's golfers or track and field athletes, footballers. There are so many people out there who are looking to improve and keep fit for a living. And I'd like to help people do that. So having a bit of the clinic and growing it, but still keeping
a foot in the sport
and just challenging myself. I know for a fact, because I do quite a lot of self-reflection and work on myself, I know that I'm at my happiest when I'm learning. So I'll just always want to keep learning and trying to improve and do what I do better. So that's me.
Amazing. Well, it's probably a good time to wrap up. Thanks for coming in and talking after such a busy time with England Rugby League and Projuvenate. I recommend anyone who liked what they heard today to look into it. Definitely, it's an amazing place.
Yeah,
and doing a lot of cool stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.